welcome in to the Gaming Discourse. I am Tyler Frater alongside Richard Day the Cruz.
Hello.
And Chief Engineer, Lieutenant Commander Connor Frater.
I don't like that face you made. Why'd you make that face?
Because I wanted to mention something before we started recording, but I'll just mention it now. It is Monday, April 18th, 2022. We have started a Patreon.
Oh, okay.
So if you are listening to this podcast, if you don't go to our YouTube channel a lot, if you get your content from us via Soundcloud or whatever, we have started a Patreon, patreon.com/The Gaming Discourse. Our tiers are $2, $4, $7, and $10. At $2, you get nothing. So don't be a pansy. Be a man and give us $4. No, obviously we super appreciate anybody that supports us any way they can. All of our content will always stay free on YouTube. Our podcasts will stay on SoundCloud and wherever else we can put them. So no matter how you support us, it's sincerely appreciated. But if you decide to support us on Patreon, that's great. At $4, you get access to our very exclusive Discord server, where we plan on doing hangouts and playing games and things like that. Chatting. At $7, you get your name in the credits as under Commander. So the titles are Lieutenant, Lieutenant Commander, Commander, and Captain, which I just came up off the top of my head. Definitely not from not from anything else.
Their original titles. He was the first one to ever use them.
Yeah.
They're new words.
So if you pledge $7, you get your name in the title of, or in the credits of, or not in the title of the credits of all our videos that we put on YouTube. And then same thing with $10. With $10, you can ask us a question for a special AMA podcast section, and there's some other stuff that I'm not thinking off the top of my head, voting on the next video project and stuff like that, which is something that I like because I'm someone that I have trouble picking things that I want to do, and I have like 10 things that I want to do. So if there's just 5 people that can just vote on something and tell me what the hell to do, that'll help streamline things.
So you're gonna get 4, and it's always gonna be split.
I know it's always gonna have to I'm gonna have to make up the difference. So please go to patreon.com/The Gaming Discourse. Check out our tiers. But again, no matter how you decide to support us, we sincerely appreciate it. I don't know if you guys want to add anything off the top of your heads. That's why I was making the face, because I was like, I should have said this before, but it popped in when we did the intro music.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah.
About
the Patreon. I don't know anything about
this. You know anything about Patreon?
You're going to be hearing from my agent.
All right. So this has been the Gaming Discourse signing out.
A discussion.
Solid 5 years.
Taking the money and run.
A discussion we've had several times throughout the years, but now it's come to fruition. So yeah, we'd appreciate if everybody, if you were interested to support us.
If you can.
Yep.
Go ahead. And we would love it.
Yeah.
I don't want to work anymore. I mean, I do want to work, but not my work.
Yeah.
Same.
And we've got some stuff coming up. Richard and I, we recorded a new video yesterday.
Pray we can get it up.
So, and that'll be up in a little bit, new different style, new different. I'm just gonna move on by what Richard just said.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It really got my blood pumping yesterday. I was super excited.
Wait a minute.
They got a feel for that.
That's on our Pornhub page. No.
It's an OnlyFans title. Come on. There goes any monetization we can ever hope for.
No, but yeah, we have.
We're past the first minute.
We have a different sort of video that we're planning on, and we don't know when that's going to release, but we've got all the stuff down for that. And then we've got other things planned for the future. So yeah, a new video I just posted I posted last week, the Hyperbolica review. Go check that out. Games. So I've mostly just been playing Forbidden West, and I wanted to get a few things off of I've played 3 games actually. One game I've played, it's only like 2 hours long. It's called Adios. Okay. I'm not going to tell you anything.
Is that a play on words, or?
No. It's a game called Adios.
Is it the one about the?
Don't say what it's about, because it's best if because the game presents itself as if you don't know exactly what's going on. So go to Steam, just buy it. It's like $20. It's 2 hours, hour and a half. It is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal.
2 words.
2 words. Phenomenal. I'm trying to tee you up. 2 words. I'm trying to tee you up, Connor. 2 words. Phenomenal. Thank you. But don't read the synopsis or anything like that. I've had it installed on my PC for a really long time. And the other day I had like everything that I needed to get done. So I decided to sit down. I didn't know how long it was. It was nice, breezy 2 hours, but it was super thought provoking and really interesting. So I highly recommend Adios. It's narrative driven. What else? Oh yeah. So Horizon Forbidden West. I wanted to get some things because I've been talking about how much I like it and stuff. I wanted to talk about some of the things I dislike. Yes.
Can I interrupt here?
Sure.
I will piggyback off you just a tiny bit.
For Horizon? Okay.
Forbidden West. But you speak first because I have very little to say. But
okay.
You speak first.
Because I have been talking about how much I like it, but there are some things about it that I think are bad that I know other people agree with. Aloy talks a little too much, and sometimes she points out obvious things, and you kind of wish she didn't because you kind of want to figure things out for yourself, you know? I think some of the side stories are a little underwritten. Some of the side characters are some of the side narratives, I guess, are a little underdeveloped. I don't want to say rushed, but they just don't feel like, I don't know. You know, if I'm mapping out quests, it's like we can take away this random side quest and, you know, inject it into this Talana's side quest and give her a little bit more of characterization and story with Aloy, you know, something like that. There was a few other things that I played today and it bothered me a little bit, but see now
Was it losing in the home run derby?
No, it was not losing in the home run derby. We're going to talk about the show 22 in a second. So the upgrade tree. The upgrade tree is great when you start off, but eventually, and even if you play the game like with a different style, even if you're someone that loves the melee combat, so you sort of focus on that, I think you'll reach a threshold where leveling up doesn't really matter. You just start spending points on things just because you have to spend them on things. You know what I mean? And that's not fun. And you know, I guess for an action RPG, that's bound to happen because not every skill is going to be super useful.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've reached that point pretty quickly where I kind of got the things that I wanted. Maybe I'm just whining and maybe I'm misremembering. One thing I do dislike about the game, so Aloy has her abilities. In each skill tree has like a couple abilities, right? The one I use a lot is Part Breaker, and Part Breaker, it makes it where if you shoot components on a machine, it gives you like plus 80% tear damage, which will knock the part off, right? And so it's a special ability you activate. It drains away from her a specific like ability bar, and once that ability bar is gone, it regenerates after a while. But you can only have one of these abilities equipped at a time, and to equip it, and they're all really situational. Like some of them, you drink a potion and it takes away or it makes her more resistant to elemental effects. Some of them, it makes her melee attacks stronger and things like that. And you know, if you're fighting a giant monster, you're not going to want to use melee attacks, right?
Yeah. You're
going to want to use one of the abilities that has to do with damage or tear damage. So they're kind of situational. One of them is a stealth, where she has stealth camo. She turns invisible so you can sneak around. But to switch these, you have to go into the menu, click into the skills menu, and then manually select one.
Add it yourself,
and then back out, and then you activate it, right? So it's kind of a hassle to switch between them to the point that I just don't do it. And I've just used the same ability throughout the whole game. And I think Horizon Forbidden West could have really used like a wheel. like an on deck system. Maybe not a wheel because there's a ton of them, but like an on deck system where you pick like 3. And then when you bring up her weapon wheel, you can press...
Just tab between them real quick.
Tap between some other button. I'm not sure which one. Yeah. But some other button, and you can pick between the 3. Because I feel like that would make more sense, because then you can have 3 and you can kind of have them working together, you know? Like, okay, I'll switch to... You know, it's just an easier way to switch. But as it is now, like, I would have used the invisible ability if I didn't have to go into the menu.
Yeah.
But it's just going into the menu and backing out only takes a few seconds, but it's not convenient, so I just don't use it. So that would be one of my, and also the game doesn't, turning invisible is an option. There's no like part of the game where it's like, oh man, I should really use her invisibility here. That'll be perfect. Instead, it's like, yeah, her invisibility would be nice here, but I'll just sneak through the grass and kill this guy and kill this guy.
You're invisible enough in the grass.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal. And like other abilities, like the knocking off parts is super useful because machines take a ton of damage when you knock off components, even strong machines. So it's like I've got that one equipped all the time, and I rarely switch to giving her extra range damage, which is a different ability because I don't really need it. And even when you fight humans, if you just shoot humans in the face with an arrow, like it'll kill them one or two shots.
They tend to die.
Yeah, so it does, like I don't need to do a whole lot more damage. So those would be my main complaints, and there are a few. Horizon Forbidden West is definitely not a perfect game in no way, but I still really enjoy it. What were things that you were gonna say?
I jumped on to play for a bit and very quickly got frustrated. Not a little bit at the game, but also a little bit the fact that I've spent 90 hours in Elden Ring, and so when I started playing Horizon, it kind of just very quickly became this like open world like type of feeling, which sucks because I don't want to have that feeling. You know, I want to enjoy the game. So I started playing and I got I'm still at the beginning. We talked about this, but I just got to the part where I crossed the beginning area into the open world area. And so now my first major task, if you decide to do it, is to go find the first tall neck, scout out the area around you. So I got to this tall neck, and there's this broken satellite dish right next to it that you're supposed to, traverse and jump on the tall neck that way. And I got there at around dusk in the game world, and I scan around and I see that, oh hey, there's a device that needs a battery in there, so I need to find that battery. I'm scanning around and I'm not finding a battery, like looking everywhere for this battery, can't find it. Aloy's talking, but what she says doesn't help me. Mm-hmm. She's just saying things, but it doesn't help me. It's just kind of vague and like, I already know what I have to do, Aloy, thank you. And then it becomes nighttime. And this could be my settings, of course. I don't know. It was pitch black. Like, I could not see a thing, like playing this game. And the moon did peek out eventually, but it didn't help very much. And I'm sure it is my settings, but my other games don't do this. So it's one of those like this, or is it how the game is developed?
You may just have to change up the HDR settings.
Sure, maybe. But it just sucks that it affected me so much in that point. So I was already annoyed that I don't have a flashlight of any sort, and I'm trying to kind of just like bump into things like what's going on. There is a yellow ladder supposed to drop down. Keep in mind I have not played for a while, so I forget things. The ladder looks very low. Like Aloy could actually jump onto it, but you can't. And you can't even wall jump to get to it at all. So after trying for a little bit, I go, okay, well, let me just try to find another way around this structure. And I jump on some things, and I get to a point where there's this this platform, like my head is hitting this platform, and it says, grab battery. And I was like, oh, there's no battery. Like, what the hell? So I grabbed the battery, and it clips me through the platform where the battery is right above it, which did not appear in my scanner. So Weird. I was like, okay, like, what the hell? So I got the battery. I don't care. Put the battery in. Still trying to find what's going on with this ladder. So I'm like, there has to be something I shoot. Like, so I'm shooting all over. I can't find anything. Scanning all over. Can't find anything. And then I just take a wild guess and I shoot again. And I hit there's something that tells me I need to hit the locking mechanism on the ladder, which I already assumed I needed to do. But what bugged me is that locking mechanism doesn't show up in your scanner in case that I can't see it for some reason, which I can understand might be my fault with my settings and whatnot. But still, it was just like, oh, here it is that I couldn't see in the dark that my scanner didn't show up on. let me get onto this tall neck. But after that ordeal, I was kind of just like, I don't want to do this right now. So I stopped playing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I stopped playing a little bit afterwards. I found Silence in the story again, and he's like, "You suck, Aloy." And I was like, "All right, fine."
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and
You're right.
So I was just like, "All right, yeah, I'm done." So that's the only thing I played because I've been trying to do all this other stuff. So
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I'll get value. It's not like I'm done with Horizon forever. It's just I'm not gonna, I'll probably go to something easy like Lego Star Wars, which is also open world, kind of. Not really, but whatever.
What was I gonna? Oh, I really like what they've done with tall necks, because now each tall neck is almost it's like a challenge or a puzzle.
Oh, is it?
To get on top of the tall neck. Each
just
tall
jumped
neck
on the satellite and jumped on.
Well, you have to turn the satellite too, didn't you? Did you have to get it to turn or no?
No.
Oh, okay, maybe that's something else. But each tall neck is a
You
little
also
bit.
have to do it in the dark. Yeah, that's the puzzle.
Yeah. In that ladder, that was a real puzzle. No, each tall neck is a bit of a different challenge, especially which makes them fun and not as Far Cry-y. But that is something that I wish. Like, okay, guys, next Horizon, tall necks are awesome, but I don't know. Figure out a different way to reveal the world. Keep tall necks in the game. It feels so old.
It's also right. It's also funny in the context of the game, whereas like Aloy has infinite knowledge in that little thing. Like I'm sure there's topographical maps there as well. But I do understand, if she needs to see a camp, because camps existed after the topographical maps. Yeah. But whatever.
And the other game, Show 22, I broke down. It's for the Switch. What was that?
I had to cry. It broke down
mentally.
And I've really been wanting to play it on the Switch since it was announced. It was weird seeing the PlayStation, Sony Interactive Entertainment, and then the PlayStation things come up on the Switch. That was weird. Felt unnatural, but I got past it. It does not look good.
No.
But that's fine. It ran. Connor and I, we played a couple games. We played Home Run Derby. And it ran well enough that we were able to get some legitimately good down-to-the-wire games, one-run games, and they were a lot of fun. Yeah, and I have to relearn how to play baseball, because there's so many little tiny things in baseball you just forget about. Of course, if I were somebody that really, 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 really was into baseball, probably wouldn't forget. But I don't know. Football happens to be more my sport. That's the sport that I can remember little tiny things. That's the sport where it's like if I were a GM, the first thing I would do is, get a left-footed punter, something like that, right? But baseball, it's like I have to. That's the thing. That's like one of those weird things that, I don't know. Anyway, but in baseball, it's like that's all that weird inside baseball stuff is all stuff I have to all the minutia is stuff that I have to remember. But it was a lot of fun. And it was a nice break from real world baseball, where my favorite team sucks at the moment.
They're 500.
They lost a series to what is right now maybe the worst team in the league.
They're 500.
I don't want to hear about it, right?
They're 500.
And Judge is going to be a free agent after the season, and there's no guarantee he's going to come back to New York.
Check my phone.
And at this point, if he leaves New York, they can just blow up the entire franchise because they've totally missed the train on what should have been one, if not two, World Series championship games, but they didn't do anything. They shifted to defense. I get sending away Sanchez, but okay, I'm sorry. Connor, what have you been playing?
Well, like you said, we played the show. It was fun. We do our stupid shit in that game all the time. Choosing the worst batters in the league to do a home run derby. Fantastic.
I hit 2 home runs.
I hit 8.
Which I was surprised you got up to 8. And as soon as you got past 3, I was like,
game over.
The guy I chose had 8 and 18 power rating. I'm just like, at this point, there's no way I'm hitting more than 3 homers. So,
but other than that, when I get a chance at work, when we're have a little bit of a downtime, I've been playing Stardew Valley on the Switch.
Neat.
Yes. I go from work to work.
Work to work, yep.
But it's enjoyable work because there's a little pixelated dog that runs around. So I get that.
Yeah. Okay. That dopamine.
Mm-hmm. dopamine right to the brain.
I worry I worry that with Stardew Valley, because I've had it for years, but I've never played it yet because I'm worried that I will suffer from Animal Crossing syndrome.
Which it is.
Which is like after 10 minutes is like I literally have nothing to do. Like, but not in the sense that like Animal Crossing, you can't just sit there for hours and play it. You can. I know I'm being facetious, but unless you're like modifying and customizing things, like what you can do throughout your day like stops. So I just don't know if like
so like there's like the farming aspect and like building up your home, clearing out like all that stuff that you would do in like Animal Crossing. There's also relationships that you can manage in Stardew Valley.
Okay.
You get little side quests. People mail you requests like they want a specific plant or they're looking for something specific.
Okay.
There's like a bulletin board with people looking for things, and there's a cave system that you can go into and
kind of like mine stuff,
and there's monsters in the cave. There's little slimes and bugs and jellies that you have to fight. So I mean, there's a bit more to it, and
yeah. Okay,
it's more than just farming and farming.
Got it.
And paying a mortgage or whatever.
Well, you don't have to pay a mortgage. You get the house. You get it for free.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
You inherit the house from your dead grandpa.
There was something
nice.
I wanted to...
And Stardew Valley is co-op.
Co-op, yes.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. There was something I wanted to say. Oh, so sorry. This is just a baseball thing. But you know one thing I really like about baseball? And I think this is more true. Baseball is the nerdiest sport, right?
You sure about that?
There's nerds in every sport, but baseball's 1,000% the nerdiest sport. Yeah.
Fantasy football is just D&D though.
Well, that's not
fantasy football isn't a sport.
But that's not necessarily a sport. I'm talking the sports
themselves. It involves
themselves.
the sport.
Yeah, but
that's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to, then fantasy baseball.
There's fantasy baseball.
Okay,
and that's every freaking day. You want to talk nerdy? Anyway.
You guys are math nerds.
No, but one of my favorite little things about baseball is how many terms there is to describe the same thing. And it's great with home runs because there's homer, jack, dinger, slam, all kinds of just phenomenal names. But anyway, so
Tater.
A tater. Yeah, you should go on and on. Are we ready for the news?
Yeah, I guess so.
We want to give a massive shout out to the sponsors of this episode. They have been silently supporting us since the very beginning, and we felt it was time to give them some love. The like and share buttons have been at our side since episode 1 of the podcast. They can be found just beneath this episode. Please give them a click, it helps us greatly. If you're feeling lucky, click the bell icon to enter for a notification anytime we post new content. You may be surprised by what you get.
Future free-to-play Xbox games may have ads.
Xbox.
Thank you.
Sorry, you were pointing. I was like, was there something I'm missing in the notes?
As reported by Business Insider, Microsoft is building an advertising team to give selected brands the ability to buy ads that will appear in free-to-play games. Business Insider was unable to confirm if Microsoft or Xbox have pitched the idea to advertisers. It is expected to launch in the third quarter of this year.
This is nothing new.
Yeah.
I guess implementation is where because I think it was specifically like billboards, like in-game billboards or something like that.
Yeah, that was back in the mid-2000s, man. Like Burnout Paradise had like Obama like billboards. They had Mountain Dew billboards.
Would it be different if the billboard isn't fit with the game that surrounds it? Does that make sense? A billboard on the side of a road, at least that fits the context.
Yeah.
But I don't know, say Halo Infinite, and there's a billboard for Mountain Dew, like in a Halo Infinite.
There was a Mountain Dew truck in Halo, wasn't there? I'm pretty certain there was.
I don't remember that. I don't. There may have.
I have a Rockstar skin on my gun in Halo Infinite.
Well, listen. Whether or not this is new, can we just complain about it and call it stupid? Is that okay?
No, because it's already happened.
No,
It's not new.
It's not good. So sorry. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings.
Thank you, Richard. I thought we'd be on the same page.
I'm not sorry.
You're gonna shill for NFTs
Because
in 10 minutes.
No, I'm not gonna. The fight is over. They won. It just went away for a bit. You're correct. Implementation is am I going to be able to play 15 minutes of this game and then have to sit and watch a commercial?
Yeah, like they did with the NBA or whatever.
Right, because it is. Well, that also makes sense.
Well,
unfortunately,
thematically,
yes, but yeah, when it comes to the free to play games, because I believe that's what the free to play Xbox. Yeah, it depends on if like, do I play 15 minutes? I have to watch an ad. Like, it's going to be even worse when they take the mobile phone route and it's like, hey, you ran out of that one thing. If you want to watch this commercial, we'll give you like 10 of them.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Really 30 seconds, whatever. And it's because people will say, yeah, sure, whatever. 30 seconds, pull out their phone, whatever for 30 seconds. That's what I used to do before glorious PS5 came in, and it's like, I don't even have to wait to play my game.
Exactly.
But yeah, it would be weird playing Genshin Impact and then having to watch a trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, well, I'd still watch it.
I was gonna say that.
I still watch it.
The trailer was good,
but still, like you are correct. The differences are appalling, and then even then, the ad revenue for a free to play game, they're already getting free money from the whales and the people who dump their paychecks into this game. Will the extra money you're getting, what is it going to exactly?
Yep.
Like, is it going to the developers? You would hope, or is it going to the suits?
Some jabroni in a suit, and that's what annoys me.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like, all right, you do this, you get a new revenue stream. What are you going to do with that revenue stream? Yeah. Are consumers going to see that? Are developers going to see that? Or is some asshole executive just going to get like another yacht?
Right.
And that annoys me because we hear so much about, I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. Implementation matters. I have always been someone that, listen, if you gave me the option between a Rocket League with a bunch of fucking loot boxes and shit, or a Rocket League where on the side of the stadium they have a Pepsi logo, I'll take the Pepsi logo all day.
Yeah.
At least it fits the idea of the stadium. Show 20, in the show 22, having advertisements on the stadium is appropriate, and you kind of want that because you want to feel like you're at the stadium, right? So that's fine. But how intrusive is it going to be? How in the way is it going to be? That's the question. And I don't trust video game executives with the temperament to be able to make that choice in a way that's appropriate or tasteful. Because in order for ads to really be valuable, they need to be intrusive and in your face. And that's not even to consider, like, what about privacy? What about ad targeting and all that bullshit? Like, how terrifying. It's already creepy when I say the word, like, I talk about games during this podcast and my phone picks it up. And then a day later, I see a YouTube clip for a movie on my phone that I just mentioned a couple days ago, hadn't searched for or anything. But like with games, like that would suck if all of a sudden you're seeing ads for things that, you Googled a month ago. And so, do we want more of that? I don't think so. So how intrusive are they going to be? What's the implementation?
Xbox, people don't remember because they don't do this all the time, but I do since I, do this for a living. But when you first set up your Xbox and you log in for the first time or make a new account, it's like, hey, if you want to make your experience cooler and better, like, you can send your data to the companies. Do you want to do that? And it asks you. They kind of frame it in a way that's like your gameplay habits and stuff like that. So I think they've already set the groundwork for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's already like there.
That. Yeah,
I'm sure the technology is already there.
Well, Connect was another one of those.
The bedrock of our civilization right now is advertising. As sad as that is, but that's what powers the world. And remember, so I don't know. It may be overdramatic, but I would hate to have a dystopian world where games are made just to sell advertising in the similar way that social media is made just to sell advertising, right? Because if it's free, you're the product. So Yeah, and it's all about implementation and blah, 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 blah. Moving on. Bungie embraces remote work. Announced with a job posting on Twitter listing jobs that'll be available in states including Texas, Florida, North Carolina, and Illinois.
That's Florida.
It does say Florida in there. CEO Pete Parsons said on Twitter, quote, "Over the past 2 years, we have redefined how we work at Bungie. Their transition to work from home wasn't easy, but the results speak for themselves. Today, it's clear that a digital-first workplace isn't the future of work. It is already here, and we are all in." That we are all in with periods at the end. So emphasizing that, end quote.
Nice. This is great, of course. If there's work that doesn't need to be
Done
wasted
in the office.
at somewhere else. Like, I obviously can't sell video games to people from home. I can't. I'm not trying hard enough. But like, but I mean, realistically, like I can't do that. But like, you know, creating a game and sending that data, we have the tech to do that quite easily with cloud storage and whatnot. So why can't you just do that from home? And have your work show for it. I mean, the worst thing that I can imagine from a remote workplace would be having to constantly communicate with everyone because you're not next to them.
Yeah. And we've definitely heard stories about. I always go back to the Anthem story about the BioWare. Was it BioWare Montreal and Austin? Is there a studio in Austin?
I don't waste my time on that.
No, but the time difference, you know, kind of made communication difficult.
Right.
But I assume these companies that make a ton of money probably have
account for that.
Probably have implemented systems to account for time differences, and it's not like Bungie is the first company to ever do remote work. We talked about. What's that studio that Will the Wisp, that the toxic workplace culture?
I can't remember their name.
But they're a studio that utilizes I think it's all remote. I don't if I'm mistaken, unless I'm mistaken. But they accounted for, you know, time differences and stuff like that. And like with the Cyberpunk hack, it's like people had to send their computers and ship them like overseas, maybe not overseas, but cross country. So there's logistical challenges there. But yeah, I think this is great. Anything that makes the video game industry better for the workers needs to happen.
Also in general.
Oh yeah, just in general. And so, you know, if there's a developer who wants to break into the industry and they have a kid or something and it makes it easier for them to stay at home, then like, please, let's do that. Let's figure that out. And I would love to know what seasoned developers think of this, because I have not seen a lot of people. It feels like I have not seen a lot of people say, yeah, I wouldn't do this. It feels like, and I'm not on Twitter all the time, but it feels like in the stories we've read and stuff, people seem to be totally okay with this.
I would be. I mean,
yeah.
Think of all the really stupid positives you have from working at home. I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to go out to get like pants, something to eat. Like optional. Everything I need is here at home.
Yep.
And you could just get, I don't know, I feel a happier work environment.
Yeah, totally. And who knows, it may take away from some of that harassment, because now all the harassers are stuck in a house somewhere and they have to harass their family, not their coworkers. So
whoa, hey, wait a minute.
We ready to move on?
You're driving this.
Am I?
Maybe.
Because I'm about to drive us off the rails.
Oh, am I supposed to do this still?
Yeah, you can read it. So we're gonna go ahead and read it, Richard.
Square Enix president. Blah 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 NFTs. Blah 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 blockchain. Blah blah blah. Oh, in an interview with Yahoo Japan, I mean that's the story.
Yeah.
In an interview with Yahoo Japan, Square Enix president and a man who thinks the ending of Game of Thrones is perfect. Oh Lord, Yosuke Matsuda reiterated his optimism regarding NFTs, saying, "Until now, in most games, we provided the content as a finished product, and the players played that content. However, there are a certain number of players in the world who want to contribute to making games more interesting by creating new settings and ways playing."
They aren't players. Stop it. I wish we had that old
Michael Jordan.
Mike Ditka. Hey, stop it. You know, when he was on Monday Night Football. They aren't players. They're investors. And it's investing. It's gambling. Stop pretending. Listen. How do you pronounce
Yosuke.
first name? Yosuke?
Yosuke. Yeah.
Yosuke, listen. Sit down. Come here. Yosuke, come here. Sit down.
My guy.
First of all, shut the fuck up. Second of all,
Shut the fuck up.
second of all, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Delocated. Delocated is a hilarious show with was it John Glazer, and he's in witness protection, and his son gets a job.
It was on Adult Swim, right?
Yeah, it was on Adult Swim, and his son gets a job at an agency, but his son is obviously 15 years young or 20 years younger than him. So at one point, his son talks back to him, and he's like, "Son, I'm gonna talk to you like a dad. Shut the fuck up. Now I'm gonna talk to you like a professional. Shut the fuck up." Anyway, listen. Okay, we cannot stop talking about NFTs. Because jabronis like this guy, Matsuda, will not stop pining for NFTs or blockchain or crypto or whatever because he lives in a different world. He lives in a world of where can we find a new market to exploit, not the creative side of video games. And I don't want to, copy and paste my rant from last week, but I'll just say what I think is a correct assessment, which is if you like God of War or Elden Ring or The Witcher or any of those amazing games, even multiplayer games, Squad, more niche multiplayer games, if you like things like that, you cannot like NFTs because the people that like NFTs will not want to invest in something like God of War because you can't make a return on your investment with a finite experience like God of War, which means you have to develop something that has monetization trails, that has continuous updates and stuff like that, that continually changes because you have to create value. So pick one. Either pick Cryptoland and Axie Infinity or pick Elden Ring. Those are your two options. And at Square Enix, besides having some of the most legendary IPs in the history of video games, and Jesus Christ, every time Square Enix puts out a game, it's a failure, even though it's really not a failure, which is frustrating. And they just need a new president because I'm so tired of this guy talking. So listen, I was mean and I shouldn't have cursed.
But shut the fuck up. The one thing that really sticks out to me in this quote is, until now, in most games, we provide the content as a finished product. So is their future content not going to be finished products? Well, how unfinished are they planning to be?
It's so obnoxious because that implies that we've been doing this thing, but that is at the end of its run. As if it's outgrown a natural life cycle, which would be the same thing if there were an owner of a sports franchise who was like, to this point, we've been trying to build a sports franchise that would win a championship. But what's the point in that? Tyler, it's obnoxious.
There are three things that gamers don't want. 1, single player games. 2, cowboy games. And 3, finished games.
Wow.
Well, if you talk to executives, they're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Make him the vice president or something and make sure he harasses somebody on his way here. And we'll apologize, but not really. Richard, do you want to say anything?
I wonder where he was going with that line. There are a certain number of players in the world who want to contribute, making games more interesting by creating new settings and ways of playing. These people aren't making the thing like you are. You're trying to sell it.
There are a certain number of players in the world who want to contribute to making games interesting by creating settings and new ways of playing. Yeah, they're called developers.
Yes, right.
You're developers.
Exactly.
Those are the gamers you're talking about.
Or modders. Or people that take advantage of creative suites like
pay and credit
Forge
modders.
Or what was that? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying pay and credit your modders.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
donate.
That's what. Okay. So I'm sorry. I was cussing, whatever. But that's what's infuriating about these quotes is these quotes just pass over, just fly over entire sections of the industry pretending that they've never existed. And it's just asinine. And there's two options. Either Matsuda doesn't know they exist, which case, what the hell are you doing running a
video game
Square
company?
Enix?
Simple. He's a suit.
Or he's just a suit. He's vacuous and empty and
A shell of a human.
And all the other
piece of
insults about a
garbage.
machine that we can make.
Filthy piece of garbage.
Filthy human
Thank you, Don LaGreca, who's here live in studio. He's going to talk hockey in a second. And just says whatever buzzword shit he needs to say because value and investors. And God damn it, if Konami just, different company, but I'm just, as an analogy, if Konami just made Silent Hills, they would have made money.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not enough for them. And I don't understand why.
We're not just doing this for money.
I didn't tee this up.
We're doing it for a shitload of money.
But it's accurate.
I'll never understand the ideology, but I'll never understand the philosophy behind it. Because it's like, after Kojima left, it's not like Konami couldn't make games. And Metal Gear Survive was just a joke, And again, different company, but what I'm trying to say is Square Enix isn't a failing company that, is a year out from complete collapse, so they have to scramble to figure something out, right?
No, but
The Square Enix we're talking about.
But the NFT market is so volatile, and you can get such high gains at it that suits look at that and like, all right, we have to tap into that.
And we have
That's
to be,
the only reason it's happening.
and we have to be clear though, is you can get gains if you're already invested.
Yeah.
Because the idea is not that you can invest now. Is the difference between like the crypto economy and freaking the stock market is that if you started betting on stocks tomorrow, there's a chance you could actually make a lot of money. Because it's all fake, but at least we're on a different level of fake in the real economy. But in the crypto economy, it's like it is not made to be this sustaining thing where anybody can get in and trade. Because the people that are in now are gonna sell. I don't want into it. It's not the same thing. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison. Mm-hmm. Dan Olsen posted a picture on Twitter that went viral, and it was a picture of a scene from Thor: The Dark World, and the text was the economy, fictional, fake, not real. Right? It was Thor: The Dark World. And then there's a picture of, I forget what Marvel movie this is from, but it was a remake of that scene, and Matt Damon played Loki.
Oh, right.
It was like somebody
It was the other Thor film.
It was like somebody filming the scene. Anyway, and he said the crypto economy, double fake, double fictional, featuring Matt Damon, because Matt Damon is in that crypto commercial, And that's it. That's what it is. And Matsuda's sitting over here saying, hey, I got it figured out. No, you don't.
Yeah, just add Matt Damon. Problem solved.
God damn it. Richard,
Hey, man.
would you
Stop.
do
I'll stop.
tidbits? A man discusses the news, but not like the big news, the little news. Little bit. This is the tidbits. I didn't mean to be
Right away, sir.
so aggressive. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just have to load this up now because things are going crazy.
All right, well, if I can give us a few more seconds of baseball talk.
Okay, so
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yankees
I'm ready.
at 500.
Our good friend Hideo Kojima tweeted out a picture of the PlayStation Studios banner and nothing else.
That's trending in it.
Over the week, Kojima posted a Twitter of an image of the PlayStation Studios banner with no text or anything, just that. Obviously, everybody, even myself, because I saw it when it happened, everyone started to go crazy because we all assumed that Kojima Studios was being purchased by Sony.
Sure.
Like 12 minutes afterwards, he responded to his tweet stating, I seem to have invited misinterpretation, but Kojima Productions has been and will continue to be an independent production studio. After everyone has already made their assumptions and stuff like that. Soon after, Jeff Grubb, our good friend Jeff Grubb, you called him, right? Anyways,
I did, yeah. Jeff Grubby.
He's come out and stated that Sony does indeed have an acquisition announcement, and it will be bigger than Kojima Studios.
They're buying Microsoft.
I don't know why that's so funny. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Oh, man.
It's so outlandish. It's like a South Park episode. This just in: PlayStation buys Microsoft.
This quote is going to be a bit redundant, but I'll read it anyways. Quote, if you've heard the rumors about a big acquisition from Sony, it was never Kojima Productions, at least as far as I'm aware. The people who were hearing this stuff, including me, that was never a name that was thrown around. It was bigger than Kojima Productions.
Ubisoft. It's got to be Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, they were putting out the feelers for buyers.
Yeah, remember they were like flirting with it. They were like,
Maybe.
we're not going to sell. I mean, if someone asked, maybe, but we're not. Don't ask. But
If someone made an offer, but we're not selling.
that would be wild.
But if an offer slid across our table.
Yeah, to be
No
honest,
way.
I have no idea how expensive that would be. I guess it just, I don't know. In my mind, it makes sense because of what went down with Activision Blizzard, right?
Right.
And I feel like Activision Blizzard has to be worth more than
Oh, yeah,
Ubisoft,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if they were pushing away the hostile takeover by Vivendi a few years ago, and they just ran into this workplace stuff, Yves got rid of his right-hand man, and they have pressure to change and all that. If they get an offer, if they got an offer from PlayStation, I feel like that would make sense. Especially because they just saw Blizzard do it, so they're like, what the hell? Maybe we should sell too. And from PlayStation's perspective, does that make sense? I think so. I mean, you get Assassin's Creed, you get all the Tom Clancy stuff, and Tom Clancy games used to be,
Clancy.
Is it No, it's Clancy. What?
It's an old E3 joke when that guy
really?
came out. He's like, Tom Clancy.
We can do old
yeah.
E3 jokes all day. No. But Sony used to have like SOCOM and all that stuff, and now they don't anymore. So maybe
They still have SOCOM. They just
they just haven't
SOCOM
done
4
anything,
sucked so bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. He didn't even play his Navy SEALs. It was weird. But anyway, that's my.
Why not? I mean, why not Konami? That would be pretty
That would be a
big.
good one.
That would be pretty big.
You know what?
And Konami also has its own residual source of income with the damn Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, actually, that's something that people forget that Konami owns is Yu-Gi-Oh, and that
didn't even know
prints
that.
money. Yeah, that is like people.
I didn't even know that.
People
Really?
think people think their pachinkos make money. No, Yu-Gi-Oh makes money. Like, that makes money, and their mobile stuff.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, and if you are,
and they're also the main. They're also the main developers of some of the more popular baseball and soccer games in Japan.
okay, I'm liking Konami more, and you've got the Metal Gear.
Yeah, Metal Gear. You got Castlevania. You got Silent
Castlevania.
Hill.
You got Silent Hill. I'm not sure what else.
You
off the
got
top of my head.
Bomberman. You got all the Hudson properties, which, I mean, Hudson is long gone, but, you know, they had some nice arcadey stuff that you could probably make a quick buck
Oh my
on.
god, dude, that's what you do. You buy Konami, or at least their video games or whatever, the Konami video game division. I don't know how this works, but anyway, you buy that. You go to Kojima Productions. On a silver platter, you hand him the IPs for. Here's
Not
Metal
even
Gear.
the IP, just tell them to finish 5.
Yeah, do chapter 4 of Metal Gear Solid 5 or whatever it was, and here's Silent Hills. And Norman, you get back in here. Del Toro, you get back in here. Scare the shit out of the world. And Konami goes back to, making
sitting
money
there
with
making
their
money
Pachinko
with their
machines and
cards.
apparently Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I didn't know. That is a good tidbit. I like that tidbit.
Good discussion as well. Got a couple more.
Okay.
1986 Super Mario Brothers animated film has been restored in 4K. So over a long time ago, obviously 1986, there was a Mario Brothers animated movie in Japan.
Okay.
It was anime, like straight up anime. It was called Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. Because of course, what else are you doing in Mario? It's been restored in 4K. Back in 2016, a historian, I'm going to call him that. I assume that's what, because he had no other title to his name, is just a user. Carnival was able to secure a copy of the animated movie. It is a 16 millimeter reduction print, which is assumed to be used for local screenings like back then. It's possible it's one of, if not the only surviving print of this film on that type of like film reel.
Where did this person get it?
Don't know. I mean, all that info isn't in the stories. It's
interesting.
Got it using a secret ingredient called
money
crime.
or crime. Yeah. Carnival planned to scan it and restore it, but hit a roadblock apparently. In 2014, another user came in to help restore the existing scan. Apparently, the print owned by the previous holders became very dirty. They didn't take care of it. It was very dirty.
Okay.
The splicing was terrible. So for the last however long they've been working on this, have been
7-8 years.
manually cleaning it up.
Oh my God.
You know, whatever.
Labor of love.
For sure. Among the improvements, there's a new subtitle track, which was created for the release like a new translation for it, along with new audio capture from the release based off the VHS version of the movie. So, because there was a VHS of it.
Okay.
This is we're talking about the film reel here, because
Yeah.
that's how you can get the 4Ks from the actual source itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took the audio from the VHS and made it so that it could be like surround sound and stuff.
Wow.
You can find the copy of the restoration file on archive.org. You can probably just search it up, but yeah, it's available for free.
Internet archive? Is it Internet Archive?
No, just archive.org.
Is it okay?
That is the Internet Archive. It's just archive.org.
Oh, is it okay? Is that there?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
You can just search it up. Since it's a big file, since it's in 4K, they request that you use torrent just to make it, speedy.
I wonder what Nintendo thinks of that. There's no way they like that, right?
I don't think they couldn't care less. I think.
You don't think they would care?
Well, because it was officially released. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see in the next.
Maybe I'm too cynical. I'm used to companies like,
sure.
if we take a picture of Mario and you clean it,
we'll have
100 years later, we're gonna sue the shit out of you.
Let's wait a week. I might have another tidbit.
Oh boy. Okay.
Because they may act fast, they may act slow or whatnot. I don't think. Usually they have a habit of shutting down things that are a threat to them making money,
or that they think is a threat to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And since this movie I don't know if this movie was officially released in America, because I've never seen it.
Okay. Cool.
It could be whatever. I didn't know what to call this tidbit, but I'm just going to call it Frank Cifaldi versus gamers.
Oh boy.
So. Last week, Frank Cifaldi, founder of the Video Game History Foundation, released a lengthy collection of documents based off of his work verifying the authenticity of prototype game cartridges, items that regular people aren't supposed to have. These are like developer copies of games. And it was very interesting. However, in the thread, a lot of people, gamers, I'm going to call them gamers. I don't know. They're just people. Yeah, they began to make noise when it came to light. When they discovered who Frank was working for to do these prototypes, to verify these prototypes. Documents were all pertaining to verifying the authenticity of prototypes that were sent to WADA, the grading company who was embroiled in shading dealings that happened late last year. The Mario that sold for $1.5 million that was graded. Oh,
you talked about this before. Okay.
Sorry. So there was a Mario last year that was graded, which is a service that WADA provides. It is, you send your game, they inspect it. How good is this? And then they put a grade on it. They put it in an enclosed clamshell plastic. And this is a 95 out of 100, whatever. It's big money, especially to rich people who.
Sure. The collectors.
Yeah. But anyways, there's a lot of flack with those guys because we found out that, just quick recap, people in the company were investing into this Mario to pump up the price to artificially make money off of it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Anyways, according to Frank, the thing is, this is kind of a give and take situation. Frank is allowed to verify these games while cataloging its data, effectively preserving this stuff in exchange for the work of the verification itself. If we didn't have this deal, he couldn't get these games to log them and catalog them. So it's kind of I forgot the phrase, but it's a good and bad take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots of words with people were had in comments in the thread. But now, we're going to focus on the documents themselves now. Okay. Interesting information. I read through a good chunk of it. interesting information such as games that are processed, what type of format they're on, object analysis such as debug information, compilation dates, etc. can be found all through these documents, including a very cool portion about how Frank busted a worldwide bootlegging ring. So there, it's on page 56. I have the link in here. I don't know if you guys want it, but if you want to check it out later. But like on page 56, there's a Mickey Mouse capades that he discovers is part of a bootleg ring, and several others were sent with it, and it was just like a connect the dots type of situation. It was very fun. So another collector and historian, Chris Kohler, who's someone I also look up to, chimed in on this as well. He stated, after retweeting the thread, quote, let's say the owner of Power Punch 2, which was in the documents as well, decides to sell that game. Well, now if people want to dump the ROM to buy it, meaning take the data off the game, and there's zero like guesswork involved. Is this real? Is this not real? It's already done because it's verified by Frank. You know exactly what it is and what's on there and what you know, and you know that it's not duplicated anywhere else. It's going to be easier for people to donate money to get that item because you don't have to, once again, do any guesswork. Like, you know what it is. Yeah. Because in this industry, when it comes to prototypes and things that we can't get on our own, the people who have them want a lot of money, so these groups come together and they pool their money to buy this stuff. So anyways, even if a private collector ends up with it, they could just say, yeah, sure, all right, release the ROM, because there's no secret involved. Sure. It's just there. But that was that little tidbit. The main thing I want you guys to take away is the documentation of how Frank does this and what goes into all of that. And the fact that we're getting this stuff.
And that he's a global crime fighting detective now.
Global crime fighting detective.
I would say this. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, but...
I agree.
But you have followed Frank Cifaldi for a long time. I have not followed him for as long, but I've listened to the Video Game History Hour, stuff like that. I would like 100% trust his judgment when it comes to stuff. Yeah. When you listen to the Video Game History, they talk about the kind of boundaries they push, big time anti-corporate, and they, both of his GDC talks, if you go and listen to his, it sort of reminds me of like that scene in The Office when Jim writes his speech for Dwight and Dwight doesn't know it's Mussolini. The blood alone moves the wheels of history. It's like after Frank gets up there, you're just like, yes, you just want to go to war. So I would entirely trust his judgment with stuff like this and the Video Game History and everybody there. The co-founder, I forget her name.
Kelsey Lewin.
Yeah. Because they do some great stuff. And I think preservation, I feel like if you're doing preservation and emulation and stuff like that, you're gonna much like Indiana Jones, you're gonna run headlong into people that they're not in it for the preservation. They're in it for the collection, for the hoarding,
even though it belongs in a museum.
Even though it belongs in for the intellectual property hoardingness of it all, So yeah, I would trust his judgment. There's a long-winded way of just saying I would trust his judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would too. All right, one more.
Okay.
A Twitter hashtag in Japan went a little bit viral, which I enjoyed. But last week, over on Twitter again, user Gosokyu ran into a thread that contained the hashtag, and I'm going to say this in Japanese. I'm going to ruin it because I think the translation's off. But "Are jitsu wa watashi desu," which basically means that's me, hey, that was me, or a variation of that. Okay. The thread contained Japanese game developers who provided either screenshots or proof of something they created in a specific part of a game, or they themselves appeared in the game somehow. Oh. I got just two examples here, but one, probably the most interesting one. There's a mangaka who's a comic book artist, basically, Gaku Miao, who created merchandise for girls back in the 80s. He created the first visual representation of Princess Peach before Nintendo had standardized her look. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But because when he created, because he continued on, I didn't put it in here, but he continued on in the thread that there were only two visual representations of Princess Peach at the time, and that was her little 8-bit look, which was not a lot to go off of. And then there was the Mario Bros. Cover art of her, which was slightly different. So he basically for all the merchandise for girls during that era, he made Princess Peach like how she would look until Nintendo decided on a final look for her. Unfortunately, he responded in a way, quote, a certain someone, meaning himself, shed a few tears over their legit work being treated as fake. Because nobody knows this, so when they see his work, they're like, "Oh, it's a bootleg Princess Peach." But no, that's actually what the original Peach. Yeah. But the other example was Hiroshi Aoki, who recently produced Rune Factory 5, which just came out on Switch and PS5 and all that. He revealed his imagery. An image of himself can be seen in the game Ring Rage, which was a wrestling game, an arcade wrestling game, in the crowd. So he's in the crowd, like, you know, kind of cheering and stuff. But it was just stuff like that. It was really cool, really interesting.
Neat. Awesome. We don't have NPDs this week?
No. NPDs are coming like the 20. I feel like it's been a long time since NPDs, but they're coming this week. They should be next week.
Awesome. Okay. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Gaming Discourse. Go to our YouTube channel, YouTube/Gaming Discourse. Patreon.com/The Gaming Discourse. If you don't subscribe at $10, you don't exist. Just kidding. We take everything. We appreciate it. And we will see you next week.
That is a threat.
Bye.
Bye.